Vanglorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United front. What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square solid in your circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick a can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And UF with KBA is a win-win. 1K, 1K.
That's a dope track.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We're here on an iconic day, and the hip hop gods have shined on us and allow us to have a part of history, past, present, and future, right here. Matter of fact, let me just stop that. Let me just do this with the camera real quick so y'all can take this in. I don't think y'all understand what's happening right now. Y'all might have heard, y'all might have seen over the years, we looking at a part of a dynamic trio who was so iconic and so necessary in hip-hop's defining journey in of itself. You're looking at our first superheroes. You're looking at our first glimpse into the potential of what we did for fun could reach the main stage. From our hood to Hollywood. You understand? These brothers was, in my opinion, hip-hop's first celebrities, first superheroes right here. So let me welcome this legendary icon, this lyrical swordsman from Brooklyn. You understand what I'm saying? Brooklyn in the house today, Medina in the house today. My brother, your brother, Kool Rock, last part, ski.
What's good, people? What's good? What's good?
Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
It's love, man. It is love. I mean, we're writing our own story. So we're in a position to be able to write our own story, control our own narrative, and what, can be told about our art form and the lives that we live from the people who live them. We live vicariously through you, through support and your group, iconic group, the Fat Boys, and what you mean to us. So this is an ode to what your group meant to us, and we can hear your story from you and not rely on, Yo MTV Raps and the magazines and all of this stuff from over the years. You said I could actually get it from you, so I'm definitely honored, to have you here, as a guest.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Like I said, thanks for having me. I gotta say I love that opening track. I love the track that you put up. Open the show with. I like stuff like that. We need more.
Shout out to my brother, man, Doc Mockty of United Front. He put it together. I asked him, and he delivered. And my sister Renee Black with the graphics. So, shout out to that family for coming through. That's another Brooklyn dude. That's why you like it. I think you got, what I'm saying, like you had that Brooklyn ear, like it felt like Brooklyn. Okay, you see what I'm saying?
I mean, we need more stuff like that, man. We just need to get back on track with the music and the lyrics first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The chips forward in May. It's just everything is so much out of control. But that's a whole nother show. But yeah, Straight up,
Right.
born and raised out of East New York, Brooklyn, man. Just represent Brooklyn to the fullest back then. A lot of people, when we used to go on tour and tell people we were from New York, first thing they would say was the Bronx. Because a lot of people didn't really know too much about New York. They knew Manhattan and knew the Bronx. And when we said Brooklyn, they wouldn't know what part. So when you say East New York, it was like, oh, I heard a little bit about that. But like I said, a lot of people knew what the Bronx was in Manhattan. But as time went on, by the time we went on our second tour, people was like, "Oh, y'all from Brooklyn? Like it's crazy up there." You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was trying to tell you from day one.
Right.
But
That
yeah,
is
man.
amazing. That's just
Yeah,
amazing. That's an amazing story in itself. Like defining and then reintroducing to the world what we knew from around the
right,
way. You see what I'm saying? Like you couldn't have came to Jersey, be like, I'm from Brooklyn, and they'd be like, what's Brooklyn? You understand what I'm
right,
saying? Like,
right.
so we knew what
Yeah,
that was. So, I
yeah,
think at a time, later on, many people would say, that's Little Brooklyn, where I'm from, North. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
they'll be like, yeah. So it's, time goes on. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Just that within itself,
Yeah, man.
in the wonder years of hip hop, it defining itself, it coming from
Right,
just rap. You see what I'm
right,
saying? From, something that you did to
right.
now having a cultural art form where
It's a
people live this.
conglomerate, man. It's
Right.
just a living, breathing conglomerate. You know, what I'm saying? It's like it's a fire that couldn't be put out. You know what I mean? Because it
Mm,
got so bigger. It got bigger and bigger every year. I mean, a lot of people was hoping, a lot of people in the industry was hoping it would stop at Rapper's Delight because it was for them it was a fad, and
right.
they didn't want, I guess they didn't want disco to fade out, but disco faded out and rap was emerging. So with Rapper's Delight, and once that came out, it was like, you know, I guess people like us, we gravitated to it, but a lot of people were
Mm,
still laughing at it. What is a
right.
hippity hop and all that stuff? And, I think once, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
once the message came out, Flash and
Yeah.
Furious 5, that's when they took it seriously. Like, this is a real art form. This is not just about some nursery rhymes. And, you know, this can be used as a pure art form. And I think once that song came out, it painted this picture of what life is like, in urban neighborhoods, in so-called ghetto, in the hoods, whatever. And people took notice to the song. And to this day, it's probably one of the strongest, or probably the strongest songs in the history of music. So, on the heels of that, we came out on the heels of Flash and Furious 5, Cold Crush, Treacherous
Right.
3, Fearless 4, Disco 4, Crash Crew, Jazzy 5 MCs, Curtis Blow, Lovebug Starsky.
Right.
We pretty much followed what they, Funky 4 plus 1, you can't forget about them.
Mm, right.
And we pretty much, they set the blueprint for hip hop. There's no denying that. They set the blueprint. DJ Hollywood, Star Child, Disco Fever itself, Harlem World, T Connection.
Right.
They were laying down the groundwork for hip hop. And we came along at the time. We was riding on their coattails. So it was us, Run DMC, but Run DMC was leading the charge of becoming the
Right.
second generation of rap that can actually make money off this thing. And
Mm,
so it was us, Run DMC, Houdini, and pretty much
yes.
us just leading the charge at that time, going out on tour and pretty much setting the precedent of what this music and this culture is all about. Because at that time, when we first went on our first tour with the Fresh Festival in 1984, I think it was when it started, and a lot of people still didn't know what rap was. They knew of
Mm,
Run DMC because they had the Rock Box and they had the
right.
Sucker MCs. They knew of Flash and the Furious Five. They knew of Curtis Blow. But they didn't really know who we were. They didn't really know who Houdini was. But the thing was, the kids our age at that time, they knew. They were the
Right.
ones calling the radio station requesting the songs. So we sold out the big markets easily: Chicago, Detroit, um, Atlanta, California, LA, whatever. And but the small markets is what shocks people. We were selling out the small markets within like
Mm,
20 minutes, 10 minutes. 20,000 seat arenas. So it was a force that had to be reckoned with as far as touring. And we were pretty much taking over. Hip hop was taking over the bands, like SOS bands, Atlantic Star, Midnight Star. And
Right.
I'm not saying take over their music. I'm saying as far as selling out so quick, because with bands you gotta take off the equipment, and it's not like 20 minutes, 25 minutes later, the next band come on. With
Right.
rap music, it was more like 2 turntables. You set
Taking
that
from
up.
the
That
mic.
was easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like going into the park and just setting things up.
Right.
So that's why our shows was ending so early. So like I said, we embarked on that, and one thing led to another. We got written into the script for Krush Groove, and we made a big
Yes.
impact in that movie, and that led to us getting a movie deal with Warner Brothers. So we released Disorderlies. But between all that, it was just a whole bunch of just touring, putting out albums, and just pretty much engaging with our fans. Just trying to make our mark in the music industry, and just trying to put hip hop on a pedestal of it could be taken seriously, not something
Right.
that's just going to come along like disco for 4 or 5 years and disappear. It's here to stay. And I think once it passed 87, that's when they started saying, "No, it's here to stay. It's definitely here to stay. It's not going anywhere." So, yeah, it was just fun to be part of the culture. It's still fun to be part of the culture. And even though the culture right now is where it's at, people are still doing their thing. They're doing their rap, they're doing their hip hop, their rap, whatever they want to call it nowadays. Trill, whatever they're doing. So, at
Right.
the end of the day, the name of the game is to make a song rhyme, to put rhymes together. So no matter how you want to switch it around, it's still rap music. It's still, you got to put
Right.
rhymes together. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody comes along saying I'm doing it better than this generation, well, you're still just putting rhymes together. So until you find a
Right.
different way to put rhymes together, you're still doing
Right.
rap music. You know what I mean? So like I said, I listen to a lot of it, but I go back to the classics. Public Enemy,
Right.
Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Kool Rap, KRS-One. Of course that represent Brooklyn. Listen to Big and
Right.
M.O.P. and Jay-Z and all these cats. And so
What did it feel like for you watching everybody come in the game? That's always a question I always want to know. Like, what did it feel like? You see what I'm saying? Like, because
right,
what you said at the beginning was very, very important on bringing awareness to the world of this art form. They
right,
didn't know. They're like, oh, okay, we saw this.
right,
It's not just this. You see what I'm saying?
right,
So it's an element of storytelling that's there, but
right.
some storytellers have a greater, propensity to draw you in with their
Yeah,
storytelling
yeah,
style.
right,
So this was a time I'm thinking in my mind that, you know, with Rappers Delight, they were talking about things that they hoped could come from this
right,
particular
right,
experience that they were embarking on, versus later on, if you didn't have that stuff, you
right.
weren't considered. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah,
before
well,
that,
they set the standards for what's out right now. The bragging.
right,
I got
right.
a
So,
bodyguard. I got 2 big
like,
cars.
two big cars,
Yeah. So
yeah. So it's just, visionarily seeing it like a hope for a thing to come. You see what I'm
right,
saying? Like,
right,
when they talk about faith, that's like the substance of things hoped for. You see what
right.
I'm saying? So
Exactly.
like that's a thing right there. And then the story changed to is going on where we come from. You see?
Right.
And then it got militant. You see what I'm saying? It got militant.
Yeah.
Like this is going on in the world. It's not just
Yeah.
going on in our hood.
Yeah.
This is going on in the world. This is happening in South Africa. This is something
Right.
called apartheid. Do you know what's going on in South Africa?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait
Right.
a minute. You understand? So,
I see what you're saying. It was going through different stages.
right,
Everybody was rapping about
different.
something different, and
Yeah,
anything
everybody's
topic.
story. So
Right. Right.
that's why I was asking for you. You and your crew. Like, what did it look like seeing everybody, or what did it feel like seeing, almost everybody come in the game?
You know what? What's crazy is that everybody was staying in their own lane. That we really didn't pay attention to much because
Mm.
whatever Public Enemy was doing, Heavy D wasn't doing. Whatever
Right.
Big Daddy Kane was doing, KRS-One wasn't doing. So everybody's pretty much in their own lane and having fun. Run DMC was in their lane, Dini was in their lane, we were in our lane.
Right.
So when other groups, even De La Soul, when they came into the scene, when everybody started coming into the scene in different groups and solo rappers and groups, it was like a big explosion. But you had the listeners and the fans going to the record stores and saying, I could pick up 10, 20 different albums and none of these guys sound alike.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like every style is different. The Fat Boys could be rapping about partying and having a good time. Run DMC could be rapping about, B-boy stands and, my Adidas or whatever. Rakim could be rapping about he's God Allah and God MC. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was doing something different. It was nobody trying to sound like one another. Nobody was doing the same kind of music. So just to see everybody just doing their thing and coming into the explosion that was called hip hop, it was a good thing. Like I said, we weren't really paying attention because we were in our own lane. So we would run into different rappers and give a pound and start talking this and that. And I remember one time the first time running into Chuck D, and he said, your marketing was so crazy. He said, your marketing is crazy. Like, when it comes down to you guys marketing, nobody can mess with that. He said, but at the same time, we were looking at what y'all was doing and trying to market ourselves in the same kind of pattern. Not the same kind of path we were going down, but as far as just getting their product out there. So, like I said, it was just fun, man. It was just fun running into different groups at clubs back then. The Palladium was rocking. People don't know what Palladium is. Palladium was rocking 14th Street, Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. It was just rocking every Wednesday. They had hip hop night. So it was crazy, man. It was just, everybody was just having a good time. And what's crazy about it is that you had the crack era and you had hip hop. So it was like two different kind of explosions. You know what I mean? So rap was, you know what I'm saying? So rap was rap, and the hip hop culture was getting bigger and bigger. And you had over here, you had the dark territory, which was called crack, and that was explosion, in itself. But at the same time, it was kind of like they were emerging together, if that makes any sense. They were emerging together. And they were making this huge bomb called hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And so once that whole crack era started to fade out, hip hop was still standing. It was a building that was still standing, that wasn't torn down, and it was just turning into this huge freaking conglomerate. It was getting different and different every year. So you had people like Redman and Method Man and Wu-Tang Clan coming out, and Jay-Z and Biggie Smalls emerging, and Nas and Tupac on the West Coast, and Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and Snoop. So it was just getting bigger and bigger. It was selling more. People were making more money, and it like I said, it all came from that tree from back in 78, 77, 76, with the likes of Cold Crush and Curtis Blow and all these people who started the whole culture of hip hop. So, like I said, to this day, it still emerges as maybe the number one or number two selling music throughout the world. I think country is second. It could be first sometimes, but hip hop is right there. Rap music is right there. So that's just a testament to
y'all era was so defining. And if you look at the 80s, because we talked about crack and we talked about hip hop, and we looking at an AIDS epidemic that popped up in the same time. So I made an analogy. I was like, everybody watched the Cosby Show back in the day. It'd be like them going to go film the Cosby Show, and then when they come out that brownstone, they got to shoot out everybody in the family. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
they got to shoot out after every time they film, and then they got to go back in that house and look perfect. And you understand what I'm saying? So y'all coming from with these obstacles that are there, and you still found a way to bring a element of love, of fun, of you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was there. So, I wanna, kind of ask you about that. Can you describe, okay, what was your vision, basically, for that template to keep that template alive? Like it's you still, finding something to celebrate in a time where it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it wasn't nothing really to celebrate.
yeah. It's like your house burning. It's like your house burning down. You're still at the dinner table trying to finish your
Right,
meal or whatever. But
right,
it's you know what? That's a good question because there was so much going on. Like I said, the AIDS epidemic, apartheid was going on, and it was
right.
asking of us to come to South Africa to perform back then, and we was turning it
Mm,
down. We even did a song with Bruce Springsteen and David Ruffin, and Eddie Kendricks. Melly Mel was in the video. It's called Sun
crazy.
City. It was talking about
Right,
apartheid, and of course, Stetsy Sonic did that
right.
remarkable song,
AFRICA. Yeah,
AFRICA. Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Let us speak about the motherland. So we were bringing awareness to different things. We were bringing awareness to the AIDS epidemic. We did a song called "Protect Yourself" on our album called our crushing album, our fourth
Right.
studio album, and
First
we were
album I
going.
bought as a young man.
That's what's up.
With my
That's
own money,
what's up. That's what's up. One of my favorite albums we ever did. And so we were being invited on different TV shows to talk about the use of condom, telling young people to protect themselves and all that stuff. And we were even doing the whole "Don't Say No" campaign. You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
we didn't get as far as going with Nancy Reagan with it, but we were doing little PSAs about staying off drugs and not using drugs. Um, so yeah, like you said, it was like everything around you was burning, everything
right,
around you was happening, but in the midst of everything, we were still just making our music and pleasing the fans. So we was taking the
right,
fans away from what was going on, all this hysteria going on, all this craziness going on. They could still rely on the Fat Boys, Houdini, and Run DMC, and a whole collection of other groups and solo artists who were out there doing rap music. I think rap music was the savior of the 80s. I mean, it saved
mm,
the 80s, to be honest with you. Because who knows what would have happened to young people if they didn't have rap music to lean on. They didn't have social conscious rappers like Public Enemy,
right,
putting that message out. Especially that first album, Bum Rush the Show, which I don't think get enough credit. Of course, Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back is a freaking classic, but that first album was definitely on point. So, it was partying, it was social conscious music going on. It was like I said, the AIDS epidemic, there was crack epidemic, there was you know, racism. I mean,
right,
racism is still here, but there was racism going on, and we encountered a lot of racism back then, going into small cities, like Mississippi and Alabama, and this is stuff you've seen on documentaries growing up. Now
right,
you're right at a cop telling you when you finish this show, you better get the hell out of my town. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, damn, this
right,
is really happening. You know what I
right,
mean? So we was going through a phase, and we was going through a lot of everything going on at that time. But in the midst of it all, we were giving people good music and good performances and having fun. So and was making people aware of what was going on in the process. So it was great being part of that turbulent 80s. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you could describe
right.
it. I can remember going to California, and this one the crack era. This was the whole crack thing was at its peak. I mean, it was like a big ass forest fire, and then you
Mm,
had the Crips and the Bloods going to war. And I can remember going on the radio station. We was trying to bring peace into the neighborhood between the Crips and the Bloods, and it was crazy. It was. I mean, if anybody, if I could take anybody on a journey, what was going on back then, in different cities like Kansas City, Miami, and California, different parts of California, Oakland. Oh my goodness. So it was a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. But at the end of the day, the roughest, toughest dudes, the most thoroughest dudes from New York to California was giving us mad respect because we were being who we were. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
we were hanging out with some of the most notorious cats in California at that time. Just sitting in our hotel rooms, and they were so intrigued by New York. Yo, tell us about New York, man. Hey, yo, say that word again. What you mean, dope? Yeah, man, how you say that? You say dope. But they were so intrigued by the accent. They were so intrigued by our movements, and they just gave us so much respect. And we gave respect right back to them. So, and it was like this all around the country, all around the world. We used to go overseas, they used to do the same thing. Hey, how do you say fresh? Fresh, you just said it. So it was just, and hip hop was just breaking down so many doors, and people just wanted to be a part of it. People just
Right.
wanted to be a part of what we were doing, what Run was doing, what everybody was doing, and they just wanted to take us home and just keep us, captive, like your hours, that kind of thing. And it was fun, just sitting down and talking with the fans till like 5 o'clock in the morning in a hotel lobby or something, and just vibing with people, meeting different people. We were getting so many phone numbers from teenagers, because we were like just coming out of our teens, you know what I'm saying? We was like 19, 20 years old. So we were getting phone numbers and just keeping in contact,
Right.
just talking on the phone with people we don't know, but we made friends throughout the years with different people. So that's what it was all about back then, man. It's like you could see your favorite so-called stars or celebrities, and you could walk up to them and talk about whatever you wanted to talk about. There's no bodyguards, there's no 10-man posse, whatever they call them now, crew, whatever, saying, yo, get back. It was like,
Right.
just walk up, have a conversation, we kick it, whatever. But like I said, it was all in good fun. And everybody was just so humble. You know what I mean? There was no
So
ego.
if I could ask you about transitioning, like it don't seem like nothing, right? It seemed like you just working, but interviews bring the stuff back out. Like you got to look at it now. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right,
You went from you know you and the crew linking up together. That's a story I want to ask about that, and then
right,
going into you know working with Curtis Blow. What was that
right.
like? And then going into the movie. Like, how did y'all get to Crush Groove, and then from
Yeah,
Crush Groove to the Disorderlies? Like a movie that ain't got nothing to do with hip hop. Like y'all.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying about that
yeah,
transition into Hollywood. Like y'all brought hip hop into Hollywood. I know. Like that means a big deal to us. You see what I'm saying?
right,
And there's a lane that y'all made that nobody else touched. Y'all made it okay for big brothers.
right,
You understand? Everybody that came after you. Chubb Rock, Heavy D, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Biggie Smalls, all the way to Big Pun. And you see what I'm saying? Like that's a
yeah,
lane
yeah,
that y'all made it all right. You understand what I'm saying? Like y'all made it okay. Like boom, the overweight lovers in the house. You understand
right,
what I'm saying?
right,
Like that,
yeah,
that like,
yeah.
Chubb Rock shit. Forget about it. So, I know I asked you a bunch of questions in there, but I just want to know, like, how did y'all all hook up together? You see what I'm saying? And
Um,
then kind of walking through, to the movies. You see what I'm
right,
saying? And
yeah.
that lane right there.
I met Mark. He was 8. I mean, I was 8. He was 7. So I met Mark first, and then we both
Mm.
didn't meet Buff until we were like 12, 13 years old, and Buff was 12 going on 13. So um, met Mark first. 'Cause I moved on the block. I mean, I was born and raised in Skank Avenue, and Mark moved on the block, I think, at age 7. So I met him first, and then we met Buff, and met Buff. Pretty much, we had a lot of lots in our block, and we had all these lots. And so, in one of the many lots we were playing in one day, I started rapping Super Rhymes, Jimmy Spicer, and all of a sudden, Buff just breaks out to this beatbox. So me and my childhood friend, we had stopped him. I said, "Yo, what did you just do? Like making sounds in my mouth." So we went into his pockets to see if he had some kind of device. So he pulled out his pocket, was like, "Grab it." And he was like, "Nah, ain't nothing in my pocket." So we said, "Okay, open your mouth then. What do you got in your mouth?" He opened his mouth, there's nothing in his mouth. I said, "Okay, do that again." And he did it again. I was like, yo, how you do that? And he was like, I just can do it. You know what I'm saying? So I started parading him around to different people. Saying, yo, check this out, see what he can do and this, that. And so one day me and Mark were always doing little raps here and there. But at the same time, we were playing a lot of football. Our passion was football. That didn't pan out for us, by the way. So my sister, one day, we were like maybe 14, 15 years old. My sister drove up one day and said, you guys should enter a contest. There's a contest going on. The first place prize is a recording contract, and DJ equipment is the second prize. So the first thing we thought of, the DJ equipment, we could use that to start rocking parties. We weren't even thinking about record contract. We thought only people like Sugar Hill Gang and Flash Freeze File should have a contract. We shouldn't have a contract. You know what I'm saying? So we entered the contest, and just so happened we won. We snuck up to the Disco Fever, which is in the Bronx. We're from Brooklyn, so we're still kids. So we snuck up to the Disco Fever. We knew our parents would have told us we can't go up there by train. And we won the semifinals. And so 2 weeks later was the finals. So we won the finals. And Mark brought to my attention that UTFO, it was only Kango Kid and Dr. Ice, they came in second in the rap category. Which all these years I thought they came in second. I thought they came in first in the dance category because the contest was a dance and rap contest. So we won the contest. We got the contract, and we put our first song out, which was called Reality. And it was kind of a take on what Flash and the Furious Five was known with the message, because everybody at that time was trying to duplicate what Flash and the Furious Five was doing. So everybody's coming up with these social conscious kind of songs, and we thought we'd do the same thing, but the song would get past our block. I mean, it was a flop. So our manager wanted to regroup, and he said he can get Curtis Blow to do our next single. So at first we're like, Curtis Blow's not going to do no song with us. That's Curtis Blow. It's a rap superstar. He's not going to, touch us. So sure enough, we walk into Quadrasonic Studio, 43rd Street, the famous Quadrasonic Studio. And sitting behind the board is Curtis Blow. White jacket, nameplate that say K Blow, Jerry curls just dripping down, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, it's Curtis Blow. So we got into the booth, and he's talking to me and Mark about the importance of writing your own songs and publishing and all this stuff. So he puts up the track, and we hear the track, and the chorus is like, Fat Boys. Like, well, who the hell are Fat Boys? That's y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, man, nobody charging no so-called Fat Boy. We're disco free. And like, yeah, whatever. But you're gonna make this song today called Fat Boys. So we wrote our rhymes. Mark wrote his rhyme, wrote my rhymes, and we put it together. And so we had to. Back then, you had an A side and a B side. So the B side was Put It Up Sticker, which we had no idea that we was going to do a beatbox song until Curtis Blow brought it to our attention to bring Buff out as the main attraction of the group. So we were looking at it like, why? Why would we do an acapella song? You know what I'm saying? We wasn't thinking that. We were kids. We were thinking at that time. It's like, trust me, it's going to work. So you said, do that thing when you're doing ad-libs while Mark is rhyming and you be saying stick them and put it up and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. So me and Mark decided to start the song saying, put it up, stick them, ha, 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 stick them. And then, the rest is history. So the song comes out, the single comes out, the Fat Boy single comes out. And, we're still in high school at this time. And we're like in our freshman year in high school. So if you can think about being the big man on campus as far as playing football or basketball or baseball, whatever you're playing in school, triple that by 1,000. Having a hit record on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Because the song came out on a Friday, and we were at the school that Monday, and it was pure play. So it's like everybody, yeah, it was crazy, man. I'm sitting in my science class, and I'm watching Buff just walk past with like 20, 30 people behind him. And I'm like, this dude is really enjoying this fame right now. You know what I'm saying? And so it was a loudspeaker, the principal is giving us congratulations. You can hear other kids in the different classrooms yelling and screaming. because they were proud of us. They were like, yo, we got somebody right in our school that got a hit record out. So it was kind of like your whole life changed around, overnight. So those who didn't want to give you no kind of play, they slipping you a phone number, or whatever, that kind of crazy stuff. And the football team is asking you to sit at their table. You know what I'm saying? So you're just your neighborhood stars at that time. So that led to we started doing shows here and there, and the record was getting bigger and bigger, and we was getting paid more money. At first, we was getting like maybe $400 a split, for a show, that went up to like 1,700 to 4,000 to 6,000. So, we was getting paid more money, and so then we got asked to go on tour. They were putting together a Fresh Festival tour. It's called the Fresh Festival. It was going to be sponsored by Sprite. And so, we took the offer. We couldn't turn that down. It had Run DMC. They already had the lineup. It's Run DMC, Houdini, Nucleus, and Jam on it, Curtis Blow, and a few breakdancers. Because breakdancing was huge at that time. So we got the slot to come on right before Run DMC. So we were rocking every night. Every night we were going at it with Run and with Houdini. Because that was like, Curtis Blow was the elder statesman at that time. He was like, man, y'all have that stage. I got my fans already. Y'all new to the game. Y'all can rock out. So, every night after the show, we all just go into Run's room and just talk about the show. And I remember times like that. I remember times where DMC would fill the whole bathtub up with ice and put 40 OE bottles. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just got a 40 OE and guzzling it down. And, we all just having fun and talking. And so that led to somebody, I think it was a writer that was writing for the show Moesha, years later. And he came up with the idea of write about a rap movie called Krush Groove. And at first, it was going to be exclusively about Run DMC. But we started shooting our scenes. And Warner Brothers was asking the director, who was Michael Schultz, he directed movies like Coolie High and Car Wash. They were asking him to put more of us in the movie, add more of us in the movie. And that's what he did. So by the time the movie came out, we pretty much, quote unquote, stole the show. And, so people was coming out the movie theater singing All You Can Eat, that kind of stuff, but they loved that scene. And so, and by the way, we were still on tour when we shot that scene, All You Can Eat. That was the last scene of the movie. So we took a private plane we was in North Carolina, I think. Took a private plane, shot the scene, went back on tour that same day. So
Crazy.
We shot that, and so Hollywood was knocking on the door for us, and they wanted to give us a 3-picture movie deal. And the heroes of our popularity and us being in Krush Groove and we selling records, we're very popular at this time. So our first movie out of the 3-picture movie deal was Disorderlies. So we shot Disorderlies. We shot that. I think it was somewhere in Bel Air, not too far from Bel Air. But I do know the Playboy Mansion was like maybe a half a mile away from where we were shooting. We shot in this big mansion, and so we shot the movie. The movie comes out, and it gets a good response. It's not a box office smash, I guess like Hollywood, like Warner Brothers wanted it to be, but it made a good impact. I mean, to this day, it's like a cult classic. People still talk about it. So
Definitely.
We were going to do the second movie, which is called Fat Tuesday, which me and Mark was writing about, something about a werewolf in what's the part of New Orleans in Mardi Gras, and there's a werewolf killing people. We're like 3 bumbling security guards, and they hire us to try to catch the werewolf and kill it. So that was the second movie was about. But what happened was Warner Brothers didn't want to take a chance on another movie because the Disorderlies didn't sell too well. It cost $5 million to make. I think it made like $3 million the first weekend. I think they was hoping to maybe like get their money back, maybe like $8 million, $10 million. So
right.
They didn't pursue us for another movie. So, you know, so still just out on tour, doing our thing. Um, so when we shot the Disorderly's movie, we met the Beach Boys on the set. So our manager at the time, he thought it would be a good idea to do a song with the Beach Boys. And I'm pretty sure he was looking at it from the standpoint of Run DMC just doing a song with Aerosmith. And that was successful. So we did the song with the Beach Boys, and that's like that just took off. That was a huge song, and so I think I was telling you a week ago. Our audience went from like 93% black, 50% white, 50% black. So we're in different we're in different stratosphere. We're in top 40 now. We're with different money now. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool for the moment, and so yeah, it was just a thing where we crossed over, but at the same time, like a lot of people tell me years later, if the music was stagnant and stayed in one place, it probably wouldn't have lasted too much longer. It had to branch out. It had to reach the masses. Whether it was here, domestic or overseas, it had to branch out. So, 'cause I used to tell people I feel bad about us doing a song like Wipe Out and Twist and all that. Like, I don't feel. I remember Dougie Fresh was telling me we were in Detroit. And he said, "Yo, I wish I would have did a song like Wipe Out. I wish I would have did a song like Twist." And then Biz Markie tells me, "Yo, you stupid to be saying that." You know how he talks. And I would love to do a song like Wipe Out. That would have been my thing,
Right.
And but we were young at the time. We were looking at it like that. We were looking at it like we wanted to make another Fat Boys album. We wanted to make another Crushing album without Wipe Out. But our manager had different ideas for us. So it is what it is. We were putting hip hop in a different stratosphere, the culture and the music. So it was a good thing. Now that I think about it years later, I could do without the Twist, but the Wipeout is what it is. But on top of all of that, we were just having a lot of fun, taking care of our families, and that's what it was all about. Just being young and having fun. And I could sit up here years later and just reminisce about some crazy stuff we did, crazy stuff we saw. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of crazy stuff. So, and we did a lot of crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So it went hand in hand. But like I said, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun sharing stages with different acts. And we did a show. We did a concert, a benefit concert for Nelson Mandela. And they called us out to do that concert, particular concert. They called us and Salt and Pepper to represent
Crazy.
that. And yeah, we got out there at Wembley Stadium, 85,000 deep. Stevie Wonder was there. Whoopi Goldberg was hosting the show. Peter Gabriel. I think Whitney Houston was there. She was there on this form. Like I said, Stevie Wonder met Denzel Washington in the elevator. And this is after this is a movie, Glory. This is after he done Glory and won an Oscar for that.
Right.
He gave me that. He had that Denzel Washington smile and that swag in the elevator. Hey man, I know you. That was dope.
Crazy.
Yeah. I met Michael Jackson at the Grammys one year, and he just embraced this man, and he just loved this man. He was like giving us so much high praises. I didn't know this man even knew who the heck we were, and he was just giving us high praises. He loved Buff. He was like he was ready to start jamming with Buff before the Purpose came back on, because we was on stage for the closing ceremonies, and he was about to just start jamming with Buff, and then the curtain started rising. That was fun. But Mike started doing that beatbox and stuff, after a while, but he was loving Buff, what he was doing. But, met so many nice people along the way. I remember meeting Bruce Springsteen one night. We were shooting the Sun City video. And this guy, he's a music icon. And he's sitting on the curb street. We're in downtown Manhattan, shooting the video. He's sitting on the curb of the streets, and I'm like, "This guy sitting on the curb." He's like, "Hey, brother, come sit down and talk to me." You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, cool. You know, but I guess I just meet so many different people. Met Harry Belafonte, and I had to call him out. In London. I said, "Hey man, y'all turned this down for Beach Street." You know what I'm saying? Because we got turned down for Beach Street. They rejected us. So, I mean, it turned out good for us. We did Krush Groove anyway. So, but we auditioned for Beach Street, and they said, "Now, we already got a beatbox. We got Dougie Fresh. We don't need another one."
Right. Crazy.
Like I said, it was a lot of fun. Crazy times, but fun times.
So I want to ask about two particular things. Like, how did you deal with, that loss, and what was the decision for you to make the lifestyle change? The transformation to, who we see, today.
Transformation came way, way before the passing of Fluff. So it was just a lifestyle change I made one day in Canada, shooting a TV show. We were shooting a TV show with Mr. T. He had this TV show where he was a detective.
Crazy. That's just crazy. I just had to wait. I just had to take a moment and take that in because we doing a TV show with Mr. T. Like it sound like nothing to you. It sound like everything. You understand what I'm saying? Like we doing this TV show in Canada with Mr. T. So I just had to take a moment. Go ahead.
Because it's cheaper to shoot for the studios to shoot in Canada. So at the time I was like, why is this man shooting a TV show in Canada? But later on I found out it's cheaper for whatever to shoot out there. So we're shooting a TV show for Mr. T. It's like a short-lived TV show we had about him being a detective. He's mega popular at this time. He came off the heels of the 18 and the Rocky 3 movie. And me and Mark was he had us in tears, and he didn't even know that he had us laughing. He was just doing these scenes, and we were in tears. He had no idea we were laughing at him, but he wasn't even trying to be funny. He didn't know we was laughing at him. But he was like real cool. He was like a real cool dude, and he wanted us to be in the TV show. So anyway, I was going home the next day, and I was excited about that. We was out there for like 3 days shooting the TV show, and we was all excited about going home. And I went to bend down to tie my shoe or whatever, and I remember getting up, and I was like filled with sweat, like just sweating and breathing mad hard. I was like, damn. At this time, I'm only like freaking 20 years old. I'm like, yo, I can't even breathe just from tying my shoe. So that's when I made a conscious decision just to throw away a lot of stuff, start eating right. It was a process at first. But being that I was so young, the weight was coming off quick because I was young and I never dieted before. So that's why the weight was coming off so quick. And it was coming off so quick to the point where my manager at one point wanted me to pad myself with some pillows before I went on a TV show. Because he said people don't recognize you anymore, and people think it's false advertising what you guys are doing. I'm like, we're calling fat boys. We don't have to live up to being fat. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so,
right.
Like I said, it was a lifestyle I changed. I made years before off passing. Anyway, to this day, it's just something that's part of my life. I just go to the gym. I go to the gym really just to clear my mind. So I'm not trying to look like no prime version of Holyfield. That's not going to happen. But I just go just to work out. You know what I'm saying? Do some cardio, do some weights, and that's it. But with Buff, the situation with him came upon because a lot of the stuff he was starting to get stagnant, and being in the studio late at night and eating a lot. So you're eating like 3, 4 in the morning, and you can't work that off. Unless you're some kind of boxer going to get up at 5 in the morning and start jogging. But so a lot of the weight was coming on worse because his eating habits was really bad. Because he stayed, he had a studio in his house, really, really nice setup. Um, but he was doing songs with different people and producing different songs for people and doing a lot of Fat Boy stuff. Um, so he really wasn't taking care of his health. So by the time 95 rolls around, um, I got a phone call from Mark that said that he wasn't breathing or something. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I jumped in my car, got to his crib, and he had passed away. So I think a lot of people think it was the weight that killed him. It's really actually the flu that really took him out. He had a really bad flu that he couldn't shake. I saw Buck the day before he passed away. He passed away Saturday. I saw him Friday, and he had the flu. He was drinking a lot of broth, a lot of chicken broth, trying to fight the flu. And fighting the flu and his weight at the same time, it just wasn't a good combination. You know what I mean? So so he passed away, and that was really heartbreaking for the group. And, we had some songs that we were going to do as far as a reunion album, and we had a few producers who was going to get on board. Puffy, DJ Premier, Pete Rock. So we were going to put another Fat Boys album out. But, once the passing of Fluff, we kind of lost interest in the Fat Boys project, me and Mark. And it's not three of us, we can't do it. So, that's what happened with that. With Mark's situation, I didn't see that coming. I really didn't see Mark's situation coming, but at the same time, Mark's living a different kind of lifestyle as far as health wise. But with the Mark situation, I didn't see coming. So that was kind of like caught me off guard. So I didn't even have my phone. I didn't know what was going on, to be honest with you. And by the time I plugged my phone in the next day, I didn't know these text messages. I'm getting flooded with text messages and missed calls. I had like maybe about 80 to 100 missed calls, different people. So I read one text message and it said, "Yo, my condolences to you about Mark." So I'm like, what are you talking about? Because like I said, I had no idea what was going on. Mark, I said, what are you talking about? Now I read another text message. "Yo, Rock, trying to call you. Mark passed away." Right. So it still just registered in anybody who's talking about Mark, my partner. You know what I'm saying? Marky D. So I went to a voicemail, one damn near 80 voicemails. Went to one voicemail and heard somebody crying and saying, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh shit, like this really just happened. But then I started looking at different social media sites and it was putting up, and like I said, it just caught me. I had no idea. I know I talked to his ex-girlfriend, and she was telling me that he was calling her a lot, saying that he loved her and he always wanted to be with her. This and that. I just talked to Mark maybe 2 weeks prior. Then I texted him. I said, "Yo, what do you think about just doing a song for the hell of it?" And he texts back, Mark's fashion, "Why would we do a song for the hell of it?" I said, I'm just thinking about it. I said, I wouldn't act on it. So I'm just thinking about it. I said, "What are you thinking about the joint I Found Love by Fatback Band?" So he texts back, "Yo, I like that joint. Yo, we should try to do that." But we talked about this stuff for years doing the song. We'll talk about it for 2 or 3 days and don't talk about it anymore again. So that was our last time talking about putting something together. And yeah, so that's where we at today, as far as just me just trying to put out or going to put out the documentary, the Fat Boys documentary. Let people know it was more than just a group that was just all about zany times and fun. There's a lot of dark areas in our group.
Right.
A lot of crazy stuff was going on behind the scenes. So that's what I want to bring to light. A lot of underhand stuff, a lot of money situations. And so that's what I want to bring to light with the documentary. But I want to make sure that people know Buff and Mark um, was an intricate part in this hip hop culture. And,
Right.
you know, so
So how did you? I know you probably gonna get into it. I just wanted to ask, shortly, you know, um, how did you navigate through those dark periods? With everything going on, because stuff don't stop. You still
you mean as far
going.
as the
Like,
crew?
far as the crew, well, just even with your own life, like how did you, kind of navigate through everything that was going on, and
I
still,
mean,
remain positive, and you see what I'm saying, and still be in that
yeah.
space to be able to.
I mean, not to pat myself in the back, but I'm a strong-willed person, and I'm a person who never really showed a lot of emotion. So I
Mm.
can think of only 3 times in my life when I broke down and cried. When Buff passed away, my mother passed away, and Mark passed away. So, so a lot of things don't really. I would say they don't get to me, but at the same time, it's not good to keep all that stuff bottled inside of you. One day you can just take a snap. But I know myself, I'm not going to snap. But it's just a thing where you know you got to wake up the next day, and you hope you wake up the next day. And when you see that sun shining in your room, or you go outside and see that sun shining, that's another day to make something happen. You know, that's another day to give glory to God and say, "Thank you for another day," and go on with your life. So that's all we can do. We can't bring back the people we lost. That's not gonna, we'll see them again one day, but we can't bring them back right now. So all we can do is push forward. And there's days, of course, I don't want to be bothered. Like any other human, you don't want to be bothered. A lot of things get to you, but at the same time, it's like people they people love. We got some hardcore Fat Boy fans out there. I got people who are overseas who are hitting me up in DM or inbox who are just showing me Fat Boy's memorabilia. I'm like, I didn't realize we even made these kind of shirts or where they get that jacket from. But
Right.
but I mean, different record album covers. I'm like, what the hell? Where did this come from? But so that's the thing. That's what keeps you going. Is that people love you. My nephew said, yo, uncle, I didn't know how much y'all was loved, man. Like walk past, like people was coming out the woodworks, like the radio was going crazy. And so it was, like I said, you just got to keep moving. And my thing is, I keep my mind occupied with different things. You know, most of it, right now I'm just living for the fact that just trying to, um, like I said, put the documentary out, and all proceeds will go to the families. So that's what I want to bring awareness to a lot of different things, um, as far as our people our age, um, in the hip hop community, from the classic hip hop community. I don't like to use the word old school, and just trying to get them to take care of themselves. You know what I mean? Take care of themselves health wise. Everything doesn't have to be about smoking and drinking. We should have left that stuff alone in our 20s. Once you reach your mid 30s, your late 30s, it's time to put down those cigarettes, put down those that soda, put down all that crap that's it's like blocking your arteries, and making you feel sluggish, and keeping you in bed because you don't want to get up because you don't have the energy. So I'm trying to get people to move, get up, and do something. Just walk. Go to your local gym. Walking on the track, do something. Just get that heart rate going. Did the 100 push-up challenge, 100 push-ups a day last year. Got a good response from that. So, like I said, it's all about just living day by day, and just trying to keep going. Man. That's all you can do. That's all we can do is just wake up the next day and start our day off, and get the day going. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
something we can do but that, but try to live.
That's real. You ever thought about motivational speaking? I hear it in you. I hear it in you, and I think that people would benefit
That's
from your voice on another side.
niece, she bought that. I mean, a few people told me. One person was trying to get me into politics. I'm like, trying to run for no damn seat. Um, there's two things I would never want to be, and one of them I got respect for, but there's no way. Well, I can't be it now, but I would never want to be was a cop and a damn politician. Those are two things they so they can keep that. But yeah, I heard a lot of people, a few people, I wouldn't say a lot, a few people asked me, told me I should go into motivation speaking. And I mean, it's something to look into. It's something to definitely look into. But I was listening to somebody tell me about it. He said that market, that is a tough market to crack as far as getting into that top tier. You know, because you
Mhm.
got people out there who was there for years. I mean, they're making millions, but it's a tough market to crack. But you know, if you want it bad enough, you can do whatever. If your desires are stronger than your wants, you're gonna always be successful. When you
Mm.
start sitting back and saying, "I wish" or "I want," that's when you get stagnant in your life. Because wishing
Right.
is just a thing where you just sit there and say, "I wish I had it." I don't want to work for it. I just wish I had it. You have the
Right.
desire to do something. You know, your desire is going to take you out there and accomplish your goals. Yeah,
I think all of the things that you provide work away. So it's not one dimensional. So even me saying motivational speaking, there's coaching, there's life coaching, there's personal
right.
training. There's all kind of aspects that are
Yeah,
there
yeah,
to where if you looked at it in, the myriad of ways that you provide, just even like navigating through the business. There are things that you learned over the years that
right,
somebody else can benefit from. That's still motivation. You see what I'm
right,
saying? Like, so whatever, the case may be, there's so many facets that are there that are intertwined. And I think
right,
that you would excel. You see what I'm saying? But
right.
providing them services, whether it's from a nonprofit perspective, for profit perspective, whatever it is, there's so many people that are out here that are in
Right.
need.
Yeah,
They
that's
need
true.
a positive voice. You might be the only positive voice in their life. Your music. When people
Right,
get into your music, it was there. It was light. It was fun. It was party. It
right,
was serious. It had all of the waves in it that you could possibly go, and so as to life. You see what I'm
right,
saying? So your
right.
contribution from you and the contribution from your group is
Yeah,
still iconic, and the story is just now really getting told. You see what I'm
right,
saying? So, and it's being told by you, you know,
right.
without the cut from some of these stuff. It be three little Irish dudes talking about they the fat boys if you let
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you let it
yeah.
go to you see what I'm
That's
saying?
true. Yeah.
So
It's kind of like that
you,
scene
you
in
know,
what's that movie called Five Heartbeats when they had the white guys
right,
said they were the
right,
heartbeats, and then few
right.
fat white guys from Ireland said they're the fat boys.
Yeah,
That'd be
five
tough.
horsemen. Right,
Yeah, five horsemen, exactly.
right. It's very, very, apropos as to what was being done in the business.
Right.
Like we looked at it in the movie, but you lived it in real life. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm extremely humble and grateful for what happened. You know, and the thing is, my neighborhood got so bad at one point that I think God just chose us three at that time and said, "Listen, this is what's going to happen. Taking you out of here." And I'm not saying nobody else is worthy to be taken out of there, but I think God shined that light on us and knew what was coming. Knew what was coming, and it's a thing where we just got our families into a better situation. And I think He used us as motivation at the same time because the group we grew up with, you know, after a while they started getting themselves together, getting up and getting out of it. You know what I mean? And it's not I don't mean to say it like I got out of it because it was just that the situation was just getting too bad. Pops wasn't doing nothing. I didn't want to see nobody in my family killed. You know, Buff's family and Mark's family, any of my friends' family. So like I said, I think God just shed that light on us and pretty much just said, you know what? This is what's gonna happen. This is why Buff moved on this block. You know what I'm saying? And just to go back into the whole group thing, before the Disco 3, we had a group called the Hypnotized Five. It was five MCs, one DJ, and Buff being the beatbox. The other three guys, the other four guys, including the DJ, they didn't want to come to practice. And we were like childhood friends. We were like knew each other from junior high school to high school. And they didn't want to come to practice. Then we'll see them in school the next day. Oh yeah, we're coming this week, or we're gonna do it Thursday. We're gonna do it Friday, and they wouldn't show. So we gave them like one more chance to. Well, really, Buff was like, "Yo, give them one more chance. If they don't come, it's just gonna be us three." So that particular day, they didn't come, and once we made it, they would want some. Yo, we should be in the group. No, you're not. You're not in this group. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, it was destined and preordained for us to be who we were and for us to meet. You know what I mean? Everything is a gift from God. It's how you accept that gift. You can reject that gift and follow your own path. And now I don't want that. I want to do something else. But if that's your gift, you got to take that gift and run with it. You can take that little plumbing gift that you might think, oh, I'm a plumber, I'm a plumber. But you could take that same gift and become a billionaire out of being a plumber. You know what I mean? But it's all depends on how you use the gift. Everybody has a gift, and God, like I said, God gave us a gift. He gave us a direction, and He gave us a way to make it. Out of the situation, out of the storm that was coming. The storm was real. We didn't know. Our neighborhood was rough, and I'm not saying that like your ordinary rapper. Yo, I grew up in the hood, son. But it was rough. But it was a thing where I'm saying, hey, rapper got that. I'm from the hood, son. But it's like we saw it. We didn't see it. People from the outside saw it. But to us, that was home. So anything that was going on, it was like, oh, that's just such and such, man. Yeah, he just got shot. Yeah, he'd be all right. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't look at it like that.
Right.
So, but like I said, the storm was coming, a different kind of storm that we probably couldn't have dealt with. So we just had that. God just gave us that direction, and we followed it. We could have went like, nah, I don't want to be no rapper. I don't want to be this. I just want to do whatever. And and I couldn't have been on this show right now with you talking about the Fat Boys Disco Free Life. So, but thank God we followed the path that God gave us.
Right.
Worked out for us. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff we didn't like, but it's like I said, it's the thing when you get into the entertainment industry, you're gonna do a whole lot of things you don't like. You're gonna do a whole lot of things you don't like. So any path that you was on, it's going to get derailed by somebody saying, hey, you should do this. I don't want to do that. Oh, you're going to do this. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
That's how it works. But, overall, it was fun. A lot of fun. It was educational. It was life-changing. Being overseas at a young age, you don't appreciate places like the Eiffel Tower,
right.
Different places. Watching the Big Ben clock and being in Spain and all these, but you don't appreciate it because you're still from still from New York. So we get back to New York.
Right. Right.
As
right.
you get older, you say, damn, I was in Amsterdam. Yeah, Amsterdam's a whole different kind of situation, but I was in the red light district. I didn't appreciate it. I shouldn't have appreciated it, but it's different things that happen. Being in Hawaii for like a week at a time, just shooting different TV shows and being out there doing shows, and you don't, like I said, you don't appreciate that stuff when you're young. You see what it was when you get older. Damn, I was here. I was there. I was so many different places, And yeah, it was like I said, it was fun. So I wouldn't trade it for the world. Some people always regret what they did in life and say, I wish I could have did it differently. It's maybe one and a half things I wish I could have did differently. But you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is.
Definitely. I definitely appreciate your time. I know we're gonna wrap this up. Definitely love to have you back.
Yeah, man.
Whenever time permits for you, and whatever I can help or we can help you do to propel the cause in regards to the documentary. Making
Right.
sure that the story gets out. Just let me know. It's nothing.
Yeah,
So
once I get that going, I'm gonna come back on your show. We're gonna kick it. We're gonna talk about it, and
uh,
it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. Make it happen.
final thoughts, final message, where people can find you, hook up with you, connect with you.
I got
Any
the
listeners out there with the platform, stuff like that. You got the gear, you got what you got going on. Let them know.
Usher 360 Rock Live, and just a podcast. Me and my boy DJ 360 got. Our second season should be starting next week. So it's called
Mm.
360 Rock Live, and you can catch it on IG, Facebook, different platforms. We just started a YouTube page for it, and we're gonna do some big things with that. We're putting together the first annual classic hip hop honors cookout this summer, so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully, everything. I won't say everything will go to get back to normal. I don't think it's going to be any normalcy in this world, let alone this country. But hopefully, things will start to open back up, and we're going to rock out with that. And it's going to be a whole lot of stars out there, a whole lot of classic hip hop stars and R&B stars. So I'm working with Dana White from UFC. He's going to sponsor it. So we're talking about doing that. That should be late June. We're going to put that together. And yeah, man, I got the song with Cocaine, the legendary West Coast Cocaine
Yes,
coming out. Yeah,
yes.
that's coming out. And we're going to rock out to that. We're doing the video May 29th in Brooklyn. So
Mm.
got that coming out. Song's got to go. Called Hush Little Baby. He's bringing that flavor, that West Coast flavor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's dope. It's a dope track. I like
one
it.
of the most featured artists in history. I think he's in the Guinness Book for that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Cocaine's
whether
dope.
he's singing, whatever he's doing, he's done it. Like I'm like, yeah, that's you know,
Right.
powerful brother with a powerful story.
Yeah. We talk a lot, man, and we're gonna make things happen with that particular song. Put the video out, have some fun with it. It'll probably be the first song I put out, man, in years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just crazy being in the studio, just doing that 16 bar verse. I was like, damn, this took it a minute, you know?
I still got it, son. Okay, don't sleep on Brooklyn, son. I'm
Yeah,
still in the
right.
building.
My word.
That's my word right there. That's my word.
Yeah, man. But thanks for having me, man. And much success to you for your show. It's a good platform, good show. I love the interview. I like interviewers that let the artist talk. Funk Master Flex, he don't let artists talk.
Right.
Flex, boy. You get two sentences in, you good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
Let's be clear. You get that funk master flex. Let's be clear.
Yeah. Let's get this clear, New York. You're talking about Kool Rock-ski. Did you ever have beef with Tupac? Like, dude, what is
Crazy. Gotta love it though. Gotta
Yeah,
love
man.
it.
Yeah, he's been the voice of New York for years, man.
I'm here for the story behind the story. We heard the records. We love the records. We saw the movies. We love the movies. We're introducing them to our children.
Right.
They're still breakdancing. They're still beatboxing. No instructions necessary. Nobody gave them nothing. They're still doing it. You see? So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is what I listened to when I was your age.
Right.
This is what we watched on TV. Like with commercials and all that. You could just watch it.
Yeah,
we had to run to the bathroom and come back. Like
and with the
hurry up and
emergence of
don't miss
YouTube,
nothing.
it's giving young people a view of what was going on back in the 80s and the 90s. So a lot of kids are looking at YouTube and going, "Wow, Bad Boys Are Back. I like that song." Like,
Right.
and they sing it,
Right. Right.
like it's a new song.
Yes.
That's
Music is timeless. It's new to the listener.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Daddy, I was listening to this song called The Message. I think it's Melly Melly Mel.
Right.
Did you know him? Like, here we go. Cause
Yeah. I was talking to some kids about 3 weeks ago at a Zoom meeting. They were like 8, 9 years old, and they said one little girl was like, "I like the song that goes da 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 da." I was singing that all day. Let it go.
That's the greatest feeling in the universe,
Yeah,
right
man,
there.
that touched me. I was like, "Yeah, that's crazy. She's a baby, And it's crazy when you hear a kid just start. See a 1-year or 2-year-old start doing a Michael Jackson dance. I'm like,
Right.
how the hell he know? You know what I'm saying? So
Right. No instructions necessary. It's in the genetic coding. Timelessness.
Timeless good music.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll be on here another hour if we start this, again. So
yeah, right.
this will be available for you. You can use this, upload it on your channel. You see what I'm saying? Do whatever you need to do with it to help, as a marketing tool out there.
Right. That's what's up.
Wow. So we're going to end it on a high note. I'm going to take it back to one of my favorite joints in the universe. All you can eat. My joint from Krush Groove. Okay. Yep. This is the iconic superhero moment for, many of us. You know what I'm saying? This is a blast from the past. Kool Rock-ski in the place to be. Live on Do the Knowledge Radio. We about to go back in time in this spaceship. Peace out.
Peace, man. Peace. Thanks for having me, man.
Peace.
All right, man.
Calm down, Buck. It ain't that bad.
We're gonna walk inside and guess what's up? Put the food on my plate and some coke in my cup. Give me some chicken, fakes and fries, living past me and lettuce, I'm a passing by. Fucking shoveling onto my plate. Give me some sweets and a lot of cake. Give me some hot macaroni and cheese. Give me some more food, please. Give me some bologna, salami and ham. Toast with butter and strawberry jam. I love it whether the food is cold or hot. Put a burger on the plate and it'll hit the spot. We'll eat everything in an incredible feat. $3.99 for all you can eat. 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 You like, give me up and some. I wanna and give me and on the side. I wanna I like a foot
Where are you going? You have to pay more money. Oh.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. Night in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get
And
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.